turn the camera on now. I'm gonna start my series on my trip to Paris, which is coming up rapidly, and so I'm just gonna share, all my. Oh my God, why is this truck stopping? I am gonna share my adventures leading up to my trip to Paris. So, yes, I'm gonna give you the background story first. That's probably what I'll talk about in this video, is the background story as to why I'm going to Paris, how it all came about. So when I was in high school, I went to a very, very well-known high school in New Jersey that focused on the arts, art, music, and drama. And I was an art major. And so I believe it was in my final year, you got to kind of fine-tune your art, like craft, and pick, if you wanted to be in photography, if you wanted to be, I think it was like in fine painting, or if you wanted to be in fashion. And there may have been a couple other options, but I chose fashion. So fashion, was my, that's where I wanted to be. So I didn't want to be necessarily a designer per se, but I just wanted to be in the fashion industry. I was fascinated by it at the time. And, I was in high school. I was like, 18 or whatever, 17, 18. And, I could draw, and I did draw. And that's how I got into the school, because you had to, qualify to even be there. Anyway, so I was in fashion, and so my dream was this was my dream. I wanted to be a buyer and travel the world to places like Paris, Milan, London, glamorous, what I thought was glamorous places like that. And originally I wanted to be a buyer, and then ultimately have my own business, have my own shop or whatever. And so that was my dream in high school. And so of course that dream got deferred. And I did go into the fashion industry for some years. I worked in many showrooms, or a couple of showrooms in New York City. I worked in retail. I actually worked in Macy's Herald Square in their buying department. So I was in buying. I was an assistant buyer. I moved down to Washington, D.C., and there was a department store that I don't think it's still down there. It was called Woody's, for Woodward and Lothrop. And I worked in their buying department. I was an assistant buyer. And so, that was kind of like my dream, although it was the worst job I ever had in my life. And what I found from the industry in general was that it was very, they were a bunch of snobs. And if you've ever watched the movie, I think it's called The Devil Wore Prada, that was my life. I was that girl. Although it didn't end well, but it was a very, like, everybody, you walked in the door and they didn't say good morning. They just said, "What are you wearing?" And, of course we were in the fashion industry, but like, I just was not used to that culture, and I got so turned off from it, and I just left the industry. And it was like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? And then I started temping, and it just went from there. But back to the dream. So I had that dream, again, to travel to Paris and Milan and all these wonderful places. And I just, put it on the shelf, because I was like, clearly that's not happening. And And that was many, many years ago. I mean, obviously I'm in my 50s. So, yeah, that was many, many years ago. And so recently I was watching a YouTube video with a woman named Stephanie Perry. And if you know Stephanie, you know, okay? And Stephanie is a world traveler, and not only is she a world traveler, it's like her mission in life is to have other women to travel the world, but not only travel the world, but black women. Like, she is very specific and very unapologetic about who her target customer is. She's not for everybody. She just for black women specifically. And her mission is to help black women to, like I said, not just travel the world, but move to other places in the world. Like, pack your bags and grab your passport and move to other parts of the world. And she has a business that's I forget her business. It's about house sitting. Go to stephanieperry.com or Stephanie Perry on YouTube, and you will, she got, big afro, or, sometimes she'll have a big afro or twist or something, but chocolate, beautiful sister. But she had a video one day that said, what is your dream? I think it was something like, what is your dream? And yeah, was it what is your dream? She said, don't go after your passion, go after your dream. And I was like, don't go after everybody that I've ever known has always said go after your passion. Or she said don't go after your purpose. One of those, she said go after your dream. And I was like, go after your dream. What does that mean? I don't understand. What does that mean? And I was like, what is my dream? What was my dream? And it was kind of like I started dusting off my dreams. I'm sorry. The car is iced over. So I started dusting off my dream. I was like, what is my dream? It's under here somewhere. And I found my dream, or at least one of them. My dream was to go to Paris and travel the world. And I was like, wow, that hasn't happened. So I kind of put that like on my, if you'll say vision board. I don't actually have a physical vision board, but I wrote it down, and I was like, and I had a digital vision board. So I put the Paris up there, and then I started watching YouTube videos, because whenever I want to do something, I just start watching YouTube videos. When I wanted to go to Vegas, I just started watching millions and millions of YouTube videos. And I learned, about the Vegas Strip, and I learned all these things, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to Vegas. And then, like, all the forces of the universe and God, I'm a Christian, I believe in God, but like all these forces like work together. Once you decide, nobody else, but you decide what you want to do, then everything starts to come together. So I was like, I'm going to Paris, and so, okay, so next part of the story, so that I put that out there, again, if you would say in the universe, or I put that there to God and say, yo, this is what I want to do. I want to go to Paris. And I didn't have any like, oh, I got to do this by my, whatever birthday, or, oh, I got to do this by the spring, I didn't have any of that. It was just, I'm going to Paris. Like, that's just what I'm going to be doing. I know I'm going to Paris. Like, period. And I just like kind of released it, just like, I'm going to Paris, like, you know. And and keep in mind, I had no idea who I'm going with or anything, because like my good girlfriends, I mean, we went to Vegas, we we go places, we've gone to Atlantic City, we've gone places, Maryland, but I don't think Paris was on their bucket list. You know what I'm saying? So, I should have got off at that exit. But so yeah. So I what was I saying? That, yeah, my good girlfriends, I don't know that they would have been the ones to go to Paris with me. And not to say, this is not downing them in any way. I love that they're the best two women in the world. But I just, so, I'm sorry, I'm going under a little tunnel, so that's why it's so dark. Okay, so I again, you could say I put it in the universe that I was going to Paris. I knew I wasn't going by myself, that's for sure. I knew I was not going by myself because I've never been to Europe. I would not be going out of the country by myself. Like, that's just not something I'm trying to do. But I didn't have any, thought of who I was going to go with. But it was fine. I just released it. So then I'm at not a Christmas party. I'm at somebody's 60th birthday party. Another girlfriend. I'm at her 60th birthday party. Just went. I was invited. I was, wanted to celebrate her. So I went to his birthday party. I'm not thinking about Paris at a birthday party, because that don't have no relation. At the birthday party, her cousin, the birthday girl, which is a longtime family friend of mine, this person's cousin is at the birthday party. I haven't seen her in years. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? So she's sitting down at the other end of the table. I'm sitting down at one end, and it's a long table where we were. And from down the table, I hear her say she was going to go to Rome. She was going to go to Rome, but at the last minute, the person she was going with canceled. And so I don't know if I yelled down the table, or I feel like I yelled down the table, and I said, "You should have called me. I would have gone with you." And I then say to her, where I really want to go is I want to go to Paris. And she says, I want to go to Paris. And at that moment, we were both like, bet, let's go to Paris. Just like that. Just like that. And so we met for dinner or whatever, like, I don't know, a couple weeks after that birthday party celebration. We met one-on-one, and we talked about it. And she's in travel. She travels all the time. And so, she was able to get us a good deal on the, flight and the accommodations and all. So, okay. So she did that. And so okay, great. So then we met again, and we had a little package, that she put together for us, and we start paying on it, and then we started kind of, okay, let me think back. This birthday party, the woman, her birthday is in June. It's like June 1st. So just to map out a timeline. So somewhere around, I believe we had that birthday party probably like maybe within that week of June 1st. And that's when we connected and started planning. Our trip is in the end of March of this year, of the following year. So it was 2024, June, let's say June 1st. And now we plan the trip for, and at that time, keep in mind what was happening in Paris. June 1st of last year was the Summer Olympics. Well, I don't know exactly the dates, but Summer Olympics happened, and I knew I did not want to go during the Summer Olympics because I had no interest in sports or any of that. So we wanted to go, when that was all over, cleared up, and the town was like back to normal. But yet, oh Lord, I can't get off at this exit, I guess. Yeah, when the town was back to normal. So yeah. So we set a date for March 21st. So, like all last year, I was like, yeah, we going to Paris next year. It felt so far away. And now I look up and it's like in 2 months. And this month is, we're at the, last couple weeks of this month. So in a minute, it will be, we going next month. So now I'm starting to have like, oh my God, I'm going to Paris. I am going to Paris. So I'm excited, but I'm going to keep you posted on, like I said, my journey. There's so many like different, I'm sorry, I put on all that lipstick. My lips were dry. There's so many different aspects of travel. I mean, I go down to Atlantic City. That's my travel. But this is like on such a whole nother level. Like not only do you have to think of, I forgot to add this part. We're also going to London. We're going to London for the day. Like, how special is that? We're taking a day trip to London. Which I didn't even realize was a whole different country. I mean, I knew that, like Paris, France, and then London is in I believe the UK. I mean, I knew that I knew that, right? But I guess I didn't realize that until we started really planning. And so now we have to take a train from Paris to London. So you're taking a train from one country to the next, and it's almost like you're getting on the plane to go to another country, because you gotta have your you gotta have your passport and everything. So I'm excited. I'm gonna keep you posted on all the adventures of planning this trip, and if you have any suggestions or anything that I forgot or not forgot, I didn't know, because you don't know what you don't know, please leave them in the comments, because this is my first time to Europe. And I mean, this is my first time this is my first time, I mean, outside of the Caribbean, this is my first time out of the country. So it's gonna be exciting. I'm excited. I'm super excited, but I'm also getting a little anxiety, just a little bit. That's why I'm trying to really be organized and really well planned out. But that's it for today. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below what any suggestions you have. Have you been to Europe before? Well, give me some tips, something. Help me out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.